Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about being rich. Well, I can't make any personal claims to being rich because I never was and probably never will be, at least from a monetary standpoint. However, I think people often have a misconception about being rich. Rich is just not excluded to being monetarily rich and having a lot of money and affluence that way. Some of us are rich in spirit, our character, who we are as a person, not putting on a phony facade, being true to ourselves. A lot of people think that money is the end to all means of eternal happiness, when in reality, I don't really think it is. People with a lot of money, they do have a lot of advantages, don't get me wrong. They very rarely are going to have tax problems. They can get virtually whatever they want from a material standpoint. They could get whatever virtually whatever they want to get out of life, but not necessarily happiness. Sometimes when people have a lot of money too, they wind up being more extravagant and they have the tendency to spend more. You'll find some people in the higher, points of life, income-wise, say people of celebrity stature and status, such as sports athletes, people that are actors, actresses. A lot of these people, you notice like a sports athlete, when he or she retires, in a lot of instances, within like 10 years, you'll see that these people go broke because they just didn't know how to budget their money, squandered it on frivolous things, and maybe didn't have anything really solid lined up for them as far as their post-sports career went. And celebrities, they can encounter the same problems. A child star often runs into these problems. Child star can become famous at an early age. When the child star hits maybe near 20 years old, it may be hard for him or her to find something else in their acting career, and they just don't always have anything to fall back on after that. So really, I think what I'm saying is we as people, most of us will not be rich. I'm saying that we could all strive to become rich. That way there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't always equate, and generally will not equate, to happiness. I think if somebody wants to get some kind of job and they have a passion for it, and it's something that will pay them a lot of money, give them financial stability, give them a good career, a career that has longevity, something where they could support a family and have subsistence, there's obviously nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that the money is spent in the appropriate ways and it's not squandered right away, or because you have a lot of money, you just have this propensity to have to keep spending and have the spend first philosophy and not judiciously use it, such as investing, for example. People that don't have money, or have a lot of money, I should say, often become indignant, and they look at things like, they look at things comparatively. Well, how come this person has money and I can't? That's not fair. And life could be very unfair. Life is not equitable. I have found that out the hard way, unfortunately. We might be penurious and not have money, or the people that are. There are people that don't have a lot of money, but they do have certain abundance of wealth, a lot of them inside them. Sometimes money, fame, glory, notoriety can sometimes give a person a feeling of invincibility. Sometimes a lot of money makes people think that they can buck the system, no pun intended, yeah right, and do certain unlawful things. And think that they might be above and beyond the law, where in actuality or reality it doesn't work like that. See, people have often speculated about college athletes, whether they should get paid or not. Some people think they should, others think they shouldn't. I'm one of the ones that err on the side of caution as far as this goes. I don't think they should be paid because maybe they could become complacent. Maybe they make a lot of money in their college career and don't fulfill what could very well be a promising and fruitful professional career as an athlete, as one example. And they might not maybe put up the numbers and do what they can for their team that would be most beneficial for their team as well during their college career if they're guaranteed a certain amount of money in the process. I think when we look at money, we see these dollar signs, see all this happiness that's in front of us when we see money. Money is something like, I don't know if people can understand out there, like the novelty wears off on certain things. It's like money can buy you certain things, certain possessions. It's kind of like if somebody bought an Atari video game system, they got tired of it, it became obsolete in his or her mind. Then they got the Intellivision. Then after that they purchase a Sega system. And it's like you get money and you might have more to spend, you might be able to do more things, but it's not going to make someone happy for an eternity or during the course of that person's life. Sometimes even going out, spending and shopping can be monotonous after a while. Money will not buy friends. Don't ever think it will. People might gravitate toward you because if you have a lot of money and they see that you're an affluent person and just manipulate you or use you during that period. But it's funny how a lot of times these so-called friends will dissipate into thin air once that money runs out, and then they therefore have nothing to do with you. And the silver lining in that matter is that you found out that those people weren't actually your friends to begin with. Although there are certain things like closing the barn door if the horse got out, but sometimes people have to come to realizations later in life about things like that. I had people that I've known in the past that have used me and manipulated me, not necessarily when I never really had a lot of money, but during times when I had enough where I could help other people out. And basically when they were done, they had a lot less to do with me when I couldn't help them anymore, or I finally decided to put my foot down and say no more, essentially. So money is often, I think, we look at money and we say, we're in a society, as I believe I may have stated before in a previous video, in a society dominated by superficiality, greed, and avarice, unfortunately. And we see a lot of people will marry for money. They might marry for money, but what happens is sometimes the person that they marry is not always cognizant of this, and they find out later on. Then you know what could happen then the divorce comes in, and then things can become very complicated at that point, having the divorce proceedings. Person that married for money may have a partner that didn't know about what the intentions were originally. Or sometimes, in some instances, I think also that a person can marry for money and that partner or significant other on the opposite end is aware of it, but he or she maybe didn't have the confidence to go out and pursue someone else and was willing to be, I guess, quote unquote, adaptable to that situation, and even having the knowledge that that person was marrying him or her for money. So we all have our richness in our life, and I think what's important is to not to think that money means 100% that we're rich. A lot of people that have a lot of money may be rich that way, but they might be lacking in other aspects or elements in their life. Being dominated by money is not the answer. And if you do have a lot of money and you are a person that uses it wisely and judiciously, don't let it become all-encompassing or all-consuming. It can make you forget about some more significant points in life. So I think we look at money. Money is something that seems like can get us, we get us like a home, for example. We think we get us some kind of stability in life and have all these things, but really, what good is all these possessions and all these things? Being acquisitive and trying to get as many things as you want so you can keep up with the Jones, I don't really see what that accomplishes. I really don't. I feel in my life I've been slighted for lack of income. A lot of times I'll notice people that might have been prospective girlfriends, significant others that I've talked to online, they seemed to like me, but once I told them about my monetary situation and I wasn't quote unquote an affluent person, they appeared to become disenchanted and basically found an excuse to stop talking to me or said, I'm busy, I gotta go, and then of course you never hear from them again. So really the one positive thing, if you don't, well, not one, but one of the positive things, if you don't have a lot of money, you really know and understand if the person is really interested in you for the right reasons and wants to be with you for those right reasons. And it's about love, compatibility, and it's about having a sustained life with this being with this person for a sustained period of time and wanting this person because you care about him or her. If that person cares about you and you don't have a lot of money and this person is interested in you, then at least you know that there's no ulterior motives to try to decipher or understand, because there probably won't be any, because the person is showing that he or she wants you for you and not for money. It's funny, there was a time when I had a friend of mine way back in the day, still a friend, I've talked to him on occasion, kind of gave me an ultimatum and said, well, you need to do such and such to enhance your life or whatever, or something to that effect, or I'm not going to have anything to do with you. Well, at the time, I kind of went with it, but you know what I say right now? If somebody ever does that again, I'll say to him or her, you know what? If you want me to do something to make you happy, and you're going to present an ultimatum to me, then you know what? I don't need you in my friends list. I'd rather be without friends that have somebody that wants me to do something just so I can conform to his or her way, to be possibly with the in crowd, just because it'll give you incentive to hang out with me. That's not how it works. Well, people, that'll conclude this YouTube not astrological segment, wrong channel, this YouTube segment about being rich. And people, until next time, this is Edwin Learnard speaking. Stay well.